Am I overreacting for not sleeping with a guy on the first date and feeling weird after how he reacted? So I 18F went on a date with this guy 20M over the weekend. We'd been talking for a couple weeks, things were going great, and we finally met up for dinner and a movie. It was fun, nothing awkward, we got along really well, and I felt like we actually clicked. After the movie, we went back to his place to hang out a bit more. Things started getting a little flirty and physical, but I told him I wasn't ready to go that far yet. I was super chill about it, just said I'm not into sleeping with someone on the first date. The second I said that, his whole vibe changed. He got distant, kind of weird, and then said he was tired and needed to go to bed. Now it's been a few days and he hasn't texted at all. No, had fun, no check-in, nothing. Just straight up ghosted me. And now I feel dumb. Like, did I mess up by saying no? Am I overreacting for being hurt about it? I didn't think it was a big deal, but now I'm second-guessing everything. Was he just looking for a hookup, or is this how dating is now? Just trying to figure out if I'm being dramatic or if this is actually a red flag.
Ida for telling my wife my childhood friend will never forgive her for what she did. My wife 32F and I 34M have been married for 6 years, together for 10. We have a 4-year-old son. A few years ago, my close childhood friend 34F got married. We've been extremely close since we were kids. Both our families were dysfunctional in different ways. At one point, my dad cheated on my mom with her mom, they got married, divorced a year later, and we basically ended up abandoned by both sides. Through all that, we became really close with each other. She even has 2 tattoos that relate to our bond. I would have gotten a tattoo too, but I'm sort of scared of needles. My wife was actually close to my friend too, and never showed signs of being insecure about our friendship, until postpartum hit. After our son was born, she really struggled. Her emotions were all over the place, and she became extremely insecure about my relationship with my friend. I was supposed to be man of honor at my friend's wedding, help plan things, and be a big part of the ceremony. But my wife was so anxious and uncomfortable, she begged me not to attend. It made me really sad, but I chose my wife. I told my friend I couldn't go and told her why. She was really hurt by it. Not angry, just really sad, but said she understood. A couple months later, my wife fully recovered and apologized, both to me and to my friend. I forgave her. My friend, however, didn't. When my wife reached out to my friend to apologize, my friend was polite but direct. She said she never wanted to speak to her again. She didn't yell or make a scene, she just drew a boundary. Honestly, I get it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime day, and she'd leaned on me for years, and I bailed. I still feel guilty about it. My friend and I still talk regularly. Nothing inappropriate, we're just close, always have been. Recently, my wife asked if there was any chance my friend would forgive her. I told her the truth, no. That ship sailed. My wife got sort of quiet and looked sad and hasn't brought it up again, but I wonder if I was too blunt. Ida for not giving my wife hope and just telling her forgiveness probably isn't happening.
Ida for making my daughter leave because my husband is attracted to her. I 55F have been married to my husband and my daughter's stepdad 63M for 4 years. My 23-year-old daughter and I have a complicated relationship. She has been diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder. She has a lot of trauma from watching me and my husband's horrible marriage go down and was bullied in school. When she told me she was being bullied by peers, my view that all children are innocents really tied my hands because I told her that if I said anything to them, I would be an adult harassing a child. She has blamed me for that ever since, and keeps referring to this one time where the kids at school called her trash due to the fact that she wasn't taking care of her hygiene due to depression. Not all of my response was telling her to take a shower and I bought her new clothes. The bullying finally ended with an expulsion and a suspension for the ringleaders. She still throws the fact that a school clinic volunteer told her that if she was their kid she'd have permission to punch back if administrators didn't do anything. I thought that having her live with me while she finishes school and gets a job would help heal some childhood wounds if my second husband and I modeled a healthy relationship. However, my daughter now doesn't get along with my husband. She is a very introverted, creative person who likes immersing herself in escapism. So she'd get annoyed if she was sitting eating alone and my husband would sit across from her and eat, saying she ate later so she could eat alone. However, my husband started acting distant from me and my daughter complained that his eyes lingered for too long. She got very angry and there was a lot of shouting and slamming of doors. Finally my husband admitted he's attracted to her and it's hard to be around her all day. Said she was walking temptation and said that's why he was avoiding sex with me. I was so upset to hear this. I don't blame my daughter for this, but at the same time the situation has become unbearable. Something would have to give, and I couldn't collect my thoughts with both of them still being in the house. So I gave my daughter money to stay at an extended stay hotel and asked her to utilize her college's emergency financial and housing resources they have for students in need. She responded by storming out and telling my ex, who is now circling social media using it to paint me as the villain of all villains. I'm not abandoning my daughter. She qualifies for those resources anyway since my ex is unemployed and we are in substantial debt. I just need time to process the situation and don't want to leave my house to stay with my daughter when I have a marriage to figure out whether or not to save. Aida?
Aida for telling my friend she's in the same league as men she calls ugly? My friend, 19F, downloaded dating apps like Tinder and Hinge for the first time about a week ago. For reference, she's the type that always says she wants a boyfriend, wants to do couple things, feels lonely single, etc. She's also, emo at least, very normal and average looks-wise. Not ugly, not super hot, just alright. Since then, she's been complaining to me that almost all the men there are ugly, short, etc., and that she doesn't match with anybody hot. I asked to see which people she was calling ugly and so she showed me her likes, and it mostly showed people perfectly in her league, as in moderately attractive guys. I told her that these guys were all in her league and she should give some of them a chance since she always complains about wanting to be in a relationship. She denied that she's the same league as them and said that she's much more attractive than them. I pointed out that in her own words, she doesn't match with any of the guys she does find attractive, so she's not in their league. She said I was an AH. Am I? Aida for telling my mom her husband is just the guy she cheated on my dad with? My parents divorced when I 27F was 10 because my mom had an affair. How'd I know? Because her affair partner turned husband was also married and his wife at the time showed up at our house after the affair came out both sides and yelled it all over the place. She had to be removed by the cops and she showed up a few more times over the next 2 years. My mom blamed my dad for me finding out until I was 14 and I told her I wasn't deaf and could hear that woman outside our house and I wasn't too young to understand what it meant. My relationship with mom was strained by her affair and I don't give a fuck about her husband. He never had kids and tried to play the dad role but I shut him out and put him in his place whenever he tried, by reminding him I have a dad and he doesn't get to take me from dad like he took mom. And yes, I know nobody can take another person. It was my mom's choice and her fault too. But still, it felt extra insulting to try and play parent when he helped destroy my family and dad's marriage to mom. My dad died when I was 19. It was a very tense time in my relationship with mom because I didn't tell her. She found out after dad's funeral. A part of me was glad because I did not want her to come to the funeral and I certainly didn't want her there with her husband. My mom was hurt and acted like I owed it to her to let them come, so they could be there for me. I told her their support was not wanted right then, especially not for losing dad. Even still she believed that her husband would become the father figure I no longer had with dad gone. And they both expected he would be given father of the bride honors at my wedding. Instead I asked my grandpa and mom blew a fuse when she found out. She asked me what the hell I was thinking and her husband has been there, raising me, since I was 10 and he is more to me than just some random guy. I told her she was partly right and he's just the guy she cheated on my dad with. Nothing more. My mom said it was a childish and vindictive way to describe him and that I need to get the fuck over it and appreciate how hard he tried with me. She said it's like I'm trying to punish them for the affair when it was nothing to do with me. I told her this isn't a punishment, this is consequences. And she has to live with them. Same way he does. She's still going crazy about me saying that and I don't feel bad but question if maybe I was a bit of an AH for telling her that. Maybe, Aida? Aida for saying, I told you so, when my boyfriend got beat up by my ex. I ended things with my ex a year ago, and have been dating my boyfriend for 6 months. My ex, during this time, has refused to move on and basically has repeatedly sent me flirty texts until I blocked him, as well as hitting on me in person. Blatantly in front of my boyfriend too. I've told him multiple times that I am not interested and that I love my new boyfriend, but he has persisted. This has led to my boyfriend wanting to fight him for disrespecting you and I in our relationship. I always told him that this wasn't a good idea, because violence isn't the answer, but the real reason is half that and also half because I know my ex would beat him in a fight. My ex trains in the gym a lot and also does multiple martial arts, whereas my boyfriend isn't really into fitness and is very skinny. He finally told me last week that he is going to fight my ex at a party they'll both be at that Saturday this past Saturday. I begged him not to, and told him bluntly that he will lose and make himself look bad. He responded saying that he's a lot bigger than my ex, he's quite tall and my ex is average height, so he'll be fine. I repeatedly warned him, but he brushed it off. Lo and behold, exactly what I said happened, and he ended up losing, although he wasn't hurt too badly aside from his ego. He came to me upset and expected sympathy, but I just felt irritated and said that I had told him exactly that this would happen, and he chose not to listen. He's angry at me for being unsupportive, but I feel like I tried to warn him. Aida for leaving dinner early after my boyfriend's friend introduced me as the current one. So my boyfriend 31M invited me to dinner with his old college group. One of his female friends 30F, who I've never met before, came late, looked me up and down, then said, "Oh, so you're the current one. Cute." I was stunned. No one laughed, no one corrected her. My boyfriend just kind of chuckled awkwardly and changed the subject. I sat there in silence for another 20 minutes before excusing myself and leaving. I took an Uber home. He called me later and said I embarrassed him by making it a thing, and that I should have just been chill, because she didn't mean anything by it. He wants me to apologize to her for walking out like a child. Aida for not tolerating that kind of blatant disrespect.